There are two things in my journey with depression and anxiety that I have found to be most beneficial, and they genuinely and consistently lessen the feelings of anxiety and depression over time. It does take time, but they do make them go away. And one of them, they're relevant for all aspects of our spiritual practice, really, but one of them is bringing more and more of my attention into the present moment over time. And when the thoughts that create depression or anxiety are really strong, it can be very hard to get out of those stories and not believe that they're real, and to stay in the present moment. But the more I'm able to do that, the less power those strong thoughts and feelings have over me. And I haven't been able to do it. It's a gradual process of being able to do it more and more. And that's at the heart of our Zen practice, is being in the present moment, bringing our attention to what we're actually doing right now instead of the stories about it. And that can be very hard to do, especially consistently. But over time and with practice, I've been able to do that more and more. And in the middle of deep depression, what helps the most is focusing very minutely on what it is I'm actually doing now. Like I might focus on the things around me. Like I might focus very minutely on the colors of the rug and the shadows between the hairs of the rug, and just put my full attention on that and notice what I can see out the windows and put my full attention on that. And sensations in my body, the feeling of breath in my lungs, how the light looks. Just focus everything really minutely, and that really helps to get out of the depressive patterns. And I think the same is true for anxiety. Well, the stories can seem so real and all-consuming. It seems like that is what is real. I'm not worthy, I'm not a good person, the world is a horrible place, and somebody needs to fix it. And there's no escape, things like this. Right now, what's happening? Is this horrible? Right now we're just sitting here doing our thing. It's okay. It's okay. So, bringing more and more of my attention into the present. Over time, that does, it has to be built up, the ability to do that. The other thing that makes a huge difference in all of this is building a solid foundation of self-love. And this also takes time. And I wasn't able to love myself at all, and had a lot of anger and dislike toward myself for a long time. And it was very hard to see how to love myself. But the more I build up that foundation in myself, the more security I have to be able to know that things are okay, and that maybe those stories aren't what's real and aren't what's true. There is so much sharpness and anger and frustration and bitterness in the world. So many things to make us feel bad about who we are, what we are, the way things are. Kindness to ourselves is never out of place. And it's so important to to be able to love ourselves, because we're never going to get the love that we need and that we crave from another person or from society, even from the perfect partner or the perfect teacher or the perfect parent or the perfect friend. They're never going to be able to satisfy us or give us the kind of love that we need all the time. And so we have to find the source of that within us so that we're not looking outside of us for those kinds of things. In my exploration of anxiety and depression, digging down through the layers of what is really going on in me, what I came to is that they come from, for me, they come from feeling that something is just wrong, that I can't accept, and that I'm looking outside of myself for someone to fix it and make things be okay. And there's just something that's wrong the way it is, and I can't accept it, and somebody else has to fix it. And so it's kind of, for me, depression and anxiety was really based on feelings of being a victim, and feelings that there are things beyond my control that are affecting me and making me feel bad. And so I made these little cards. One that says, for feelings of anxiety of any size. I should have brought these, but I forgot them. For feelings of anxiety, any size, ask yourself, are you looking outside of you for security? And for feelings of depression, any size, ask yourself, are you looking outside of yourself for security and satisfaction? So that helped me to bring it back to something that I could work with, and to look for that source of love and satisfaction from inside, and from my connection with Source and my spiritual practice. Because if I'm looking outside of myself for the world to be different or someone to treat me in a different way, then I'm never going to be satisfied, and I'm never going to be good enough. I was talking with Yugen, one of our Dharma holders here, last week, and he shared with me this practice that he had heard in a Dharma podcast. It's really simple, but a way that we can start strengthening that feeling of self-love inside us. And this practice that he shared was that on waking up in the morning, for me, I would say, good morning, Koren, I love you. Good morning, Koren, I love you. And for each of us, we would say that with our own name to ourselves. And in the podcast that he was telling me about, the woman speaking said that she wasn't able to say I love you to herself for quite a while, but she found that she could say good morning to herself. And then eventually she developed the ability to say I love you to herself. And so I've been working with that, and it's really nice. It's a really nice way to start the day, the first thing when I wake up, just to feel the support of myself, that I have my own support and belief in myself. And so it doesn't have to be anything complicated, but just simple ways that we can be gentle and kind to ourselves, build up that strength over time in us, and that ability to believe in ourselves and to know that we are worthy of love and approval and acceptance and respect. And if we're always depending on other people to get our sense of self-respect and worthiness, we're never going to